This week on Dr. Drew After Dark. But isn't he has purchased this woman? Is that the point?
Did he go to cattimpf.com? Is that instructions for sexual activity with a shit bag. It says, bold, all caps, and underline, do not attempt to penetrate stoma.
Welcome to Dr. Drew After Dark. Please be advised that Dr. Drew After Dark may contain sexually oriented content and be unsuitable for young children. Of course, it's Dr. Drew After Dark, everybody. Thank you for being here. You know the number, 818-253-1693. You know what that's for. And the email is drdrew@gmail.com. Send them. We appreciate you being here. Very excited today to welcome my friend, the talented Cat Timpf.
You doing? Are you okay, Doc?
No, I am not. Nadav fucked me up before we got started because.
How did I do that?
Because I have OCD, right?
Oh yeah, no way.
And I don't let my phone go down below like 75%. I start to freak out.
Yeah.
With it. So
below 95%.
No, at 95% is when I want to plug it in.
Yes.
At 75, I freak out.
Meltdown.
Yeah, meltdown. You have some of the same stuff?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, okay. So these guys give me shit about that, but I just said before the mics heated up that
not these guys, just one.
Nadav gives me shit about that.
Yeah.
And I dropped my phone in the shower today.
Good.
Why were you in the shower with your phone? You just said that as if I was like, oh yeah, of course.
I was so
You're in the
hoping you would let that go.
with your phone.
I was so hoping you would let that go. I listen to shit in the shower.
Okay.
I just do.
Wait, you bring in the phone into the shower?
I do. Normally when I'm home, I've got a little slot for it and stuff because I use every second of my day, guys.
Okay.
I really, literally do. And so that's the way it goes.
You can't even put it, next to the shot, like by the.
I couldn't hear it. Yeah.
Wait, are you reading emails?
No. I'm listening
podcasts?
to stuff. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
how
There's a
long?
Bluetooth
Okay,
speaker.
I know
Studying
that.
French sometimes.
I know that you say you need to use every second of your day, but
And he's in on this.
how long is your shower? Because you might shower more
It's a good
quickly.
15. No, it doesn't distract me. I'm all business.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all business. No. Let it go. But
All
the
right.
point is, I said I couldn't plug my phone in because they recommend you let it dry for 5 hours at least before plugging it in.
Oh, are you dying right now?
Dying.
You're dying. What will you do if you turn it back on and no one texted you?
Oh, no, it's on. And there's texts even coming through right now from my
okay.
son, who I just told him I was busy, so keeps texting, of course.
Oh, got it.
But yes, no, they didn't say you have to turn it off. They just said you can't charge it.
Got it.
So-
Got it.
So Kat has an amazing book. It's called You Can't Joke About That.
Yes.
And I love this book
Thank you.
because it is as good as it lives up to its title. And I think it's important for this age when you're not allowed to joke about anything. You're not allowed to say anything. You're not allowed to do anything. And you had an experience
Yes.
that is very difficult to joke about.
Correct.
And I will just share with you guys that her experience was like tailor-made for mommies and your mom house. Like,
Yeah.
It's everything brown. This is a brown story from top to bottom. Shit story.
Yes.
It involves a lot of things that we talk about here. And I want her to tell the story, if you don't mind. And do read the book, because it gets deeper into it. There are things you can't joke about, and this one still jokes about it.
Yeah, this is the only way I got through it. You guys have no idea what I'm about to say because this doesn't happen to people.
What do you think she's about to say?
Yeah.
What are we going to talk about?
I mean,
Diarrhea?
if it's shitting yourself, I mean, that happens to everybody.
Oh, I wish.
No.
I would have, at this time, can I tell you, I was praying to God to be able to one day shit myself again. That's exactly what I wanted. Here's what happened. It was Saturday. Everything was fine.
You were supposed to get married on that day,
I was
weren't
supposed to
you?
get married like a few weeks later.
Okay.
But then we had to cancel it because of Cuomo was like, can't have more than 10 people in a room, whatever.
Right. She had her wedding at our apartment.
Yeah, at your apartment.
Yeah.
So I have a really bad stomach pains where it was excruciating. I regret ever using the word excruciating before. It hurt so bad. I couldn't breathe. And I told Cam, my husband, but who was my fiance at the time, I was like, I need to go to the hospital. I'm a hypochondriac. He's like, just take something, sleep it off. I was like, we need to go now. I go to the emergency room. I'm like, I'm dying. I know I'm dying. He's like, whatever, let me know what kind of food you want me to get home. I was right. I was dying. I had a bowel perforation. There was a hole in my colon, and they told me that I was going to need to go into surgery to get an ileostomy.
The part she didn't say she'd had a colonoscopy because
Yeah.
Nadav's been through a diverticular abscess
Yeah.
and a resection, all this stuff too. So he knows a little about this.
Yeah.
So she had a colonoscopy a couple weeks earlier. They didn't even think about that. That's of course.
I didn't even think about that
That's what, of
because it was a
course,
few weeks
caused-
before. So I'm like, oh, I don't know what happened at this point, and I'm like, what's an ileostomy? Because I had no idea, and I'm like, oh, it's the fancy word for shit bag. So I have an entire chapter in my book that's just called shit bag, and my Cam's still not getting it. He's like, when should she come in for the surgery? And they're like, no, right fucking now. Like my blood results were crazy because
You had peritonitis. You had
I
peritonitis.
was, the shit is seeping into my bloodstream.
No, into your abdominal cavity, and then that
everywhere.
infection is getting into your bloodstream.
It was it hurt so bad. Like I couldn't breathe. So
that is peritonitis.
I
That's
had
what you
to I had to be wheeled into surgery, emergency surgery. I wake up. I didn't know. I don't know if you guys know this about shit bags. I assumed that there was some kind of waste disposal apparatus. It's not. It is just your small intestine coming out of a hole in your stomach, and waste goes into the bag.
Did you have anything like that, Nadav? Did you have to have a colon?
I didn't have a colostomy.
Okay, this is actually the small bowel, so it bypasses the entire colon.
Yeah.
So there's a small bowel coming to the surface, which is kind of interesting.
So yeah, I can't
That's
shit
inside
at
the
all.
body.
Can't shit at all, but the ostomy, the colon, the small bowel that's coming to the surface, has interesting abilities.
Now,
Yeah.
wait, what Nadav just said, I'm actually curious. So does that mean that her inside of her body was outside of
That's
the body?
exactly what that means.
No, because
Nailed it.
no.
No,
Because
it is.
it's still the inside. From your mouth to your anus is a tube.
Right, but that
And
tube
that's
is
all-
inside of me now. It wasn't before.
It runs through you, but it's actually outside of your body. It's a tube that's outside of your body, and they bring that tube to the surface, so it remains
Wait,
outside the
so
body.
I actually don't know this. Was that the end of my? That wasn't the end of my butthole. That was the end of my small intestine.
Your
It's the
small intestine.
start of
Yeah.
your
Okay.
butthole.
All right.
Butthole.
Butthole. That's the medical term. So yeah, this was during COVID, so I was alone the entire time, basically.
At the hospital.
At the hospital. They would allow you for 2 hours of visitors a day, only not past 6 p.m. Because I don't know, I guess COVID got worse at night. So I had nobody with me, except that, the roommates I had or the curtain mates. I had this one lady the first night I was in there. I don't know what was wrong with her, but I do know that the more she farted, then the better that was for her prognosis. Because in the night, she was singing these gospel style songs she made up herself about like giving glory to God for the farts that she was having, whatever.
Oh, seriously?
Yes.
Oh my
so
God.
I was turning up my forensic files, and then she told me to turn it down. So I was like, what the fuck? And then she was like, I didn't know you could hear me. So we talked all night, still have her number on my phone, whatever. I go home.
Do you call her now? Do you talk to her?
I haven't talked to her, but we were, we were in the barracks together,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
So
bonded by trauma.
yes.
Yeah.
And so I have this shit bag. I take a week off. I go back to work. I don't want to tell anybody because, if I tell people, how are you? Well, my small intestines hanging out of my body. I'm involuntary shitting. I also had the wrong sized one, so I was leaking all the time. The bag was exploding all the time.
So let's stop. Slow down. So
Yeah.
when you're getting your instructions,
Real hot girl shit.
when, you,
Yeah.
when you're getting your instructions to go home, what are they emphasizing above all else?
Oh my gosh. So the instructions, I just said, oh my gosh. Like I wouldn't want to be vulgar, right? In this discussion. So instructions for sexual activity with a shit bag. It says bold, all caps and underline, do not attempt to penetrate stoma.
Don't
Don't
Nadav's
fuck-
like, yeah.
Don't fuck the small intestine
that's
hole.
great
So
advice.
The fact that it
Well,
was
Christina had fucked my stoma tour. Remember that?
sure-
and
yeah, sure
little
did.
did she know.
that it
that's-
apparently happens. And it happens often enough that they need to underline it, bold it, cap.
Did the nurses bring it up too?
The fact that tells you everything I think that you need to know about men.
Yeah.
Because there was enough people being like, okay, I just went through this traumatic experience where my intestines out, and then my partner put his dick in it. Like, I mean, you think you'd want to be, but props to my husband.
it didn't even
He did
cross your
not
mind?
put his penis in it,
He
but
didn't.
he did put his penis in me.
Which is amazing.
He still wanted to have sex with me when I had the shit bag on. So
Which
like,
Kat couldn't believe. And I said, I thought this is a great way to compliment a woman. And I
Yeah.
said, Susan,
To fuck her stoma?
no.
No, not her stoma, but her.
Want to
Oh,
continue to have sex in spite of the presence of a stoma, right?
Right.
Of a shitbag.
Believe it or not, I had felt sexier at other times in my life.
And I said, Susan, I love you so much. I'm so attracted to you. You could have 2 shitbags and I'd still fuck
Isn't
you.
that sweet?
I think that's true love.
That is.
Yeah.
I did have a belt. There's this company, and I really wish that I could remember the name of it, but it was like Ostomates, like a play on ostomy and intimates, where they make like lingerie for people with shit bags. So I had like this belt thing that would hold it in place because you don't want that flopping around, when you're banging.
Yeah.
So I did have that to hold it in place, but still you're not like, oh, I'm, you know how when you're potty trained as an adult, you're like, I have to poop, and then you go to the bathroom and do that. It spews out of you when it wants to.
Well, not as a spew out. I thought your mom's house would like it. It does just, it sprays, it spits.
Projectiles
Yeah.
are cool.
It can spray across the room.
And you don't know when it's coming.
And it's random. It just
It's just like a volcanic eruption. It's just like,
Yes.
oh, I think
but
something's gonna happen
usually
soon.
it's kind of a tiny stream. It's
Yes.
like a little spit.
It depends what you eat. You can eat Mike and Ike's to stop up the flow, which is like a cool trick I learned, but it
Just
can only be
Mike and
stopped up
Ike's?
for so long. But you shower with the bag on, so you have to put saran wrap on over it and then tape it so it doesn't get wet. And I had my best friend who's like a gay gymnast. He was a flower girl in my wedding, living with us at the time. He would tape it all around the small intestine, spurting shit. But when he got to my where my vagina was, he wouldn't do it. I'm like, so that gave me. There's nothing wrong with my vagina.
He's afraid of vaginas,
Right,
though.
he's
Keith is
afraid of
afraid of vaginas,
vaginas.
yeah.
But then sometimes you shower with it off. So then when you come out of the shower, it could start spurting. So my husband would be like putting it on. I'd be holding it. Sometimes there'd be shit spraying everywhere. And I'm like, this man still wants to marry me. This man still wants to have sex with me. But I didn't really tell people that I was going through this because, and this was the subject of my book, because my dad was like, Kat, you're like 32. What have you not been through at this point? Because there's a lot of trauma in my book. My trauma bingo card, like it's up
Pretty
there.
full.
Yeah. So I was like, well, Dad, and I was on opiates at the time because they give you opiates for this. Yeah, but tough thing you go through, you're automatically building a connection with everyone who goes through it too. But then I thought about it and I was like, what's the use if we can't talk about it? Because now these rules for speech are supposed to be put into place to, be sensitive to people who are going through things.
Yes.
But for me, it was the opposite. I didn't want to tell people because I didn't want people to be like, oh, are you okay? No, and I didn't need them to be so nervous to say something to me. I already felt weird enough. I felt like a walking science experiment.
And making fun is a great way to deal with it.
It's a great... Gutfeld, he texted me while I was in the hospital. He was like, this is your Vietnam. And that made me laugh. And I had to laugh about it. I had to be able to joke about it. I made jokes that like I could do an OnlyFans for the rest of my life. I still have a pretty big scar. I can wear whatever I want. I can be like a 60-year-old woman walking around in a thong bikini, in the mall. And I can be like, no, this is for ostomy awareness. Like I'm breaking the stigma. Nobody can ever say that I'm joking. All this helped me get through this stuff.
And you named the bag.
Beth. I named the bag Beth because I was with, on a session with my therapist, Zoom, of course, because, pandemic. And I was like, I am anxious because every time I look at it, I get upset. I don't want to empty it. And he was like, well, you're going to be anxious because if something on your own body, you can't run away from it. So he made me touch it. He made me, and I named it Beth. And so then we joked that every sex that we had was like a threesome with Beth.
Beth was there.
And it was the worst threesome ever. And Cam is such a trooper because, I gave the book to my mother-in-law and it's like, so now you know that your son banged me with the shit bag on. And then I talked about this on one of my live shows on stage and I'm like, and he banged me with the shit bag on. And he, of course, Cam's sitting next to my dad.
Oh, where can people go to find out where you're appearing, by the way, so if they want to hear more shitbag stories?
Yeah, I'm doing a bunch of live shows. TheRealCatTimpf.com. Get tickets. I'm going to be all over the place.
And what if you go to cattimpf.com?
Do not. It's like a Malaysian porn website. I let it lapse for like 2
That's
seconds and Malaysians were boom.
What's that? Somebody said something.
We're gonna check it out.
Yeah.
Oh, check it out now, of course.
I don't know if it's porn or it's like a service to purchase actual women or something.
Look at this thing.
Oh, where's all the...
Yep,
there
it is.
they are.
Yep.
If you scroll down, I think
ahead,
you'll see
go
some
ahead,
girls.
Wait, I don't see them. Show them
Because
down.
there were girls. There they are. There they are.
Okay,
there
there we
they
go.
are. There
Okay.
she is.
right.
They're my girls.
Drew wanted the proof.
I
I
just
mean, Drew, what do you
this,
think? Should we call one of these numbers? And
I
see
mean,
what-
This was just such an odd thing.
I'm like, you...
It's so odd. And how do you know it's Malaysian?
Because we had to figure out, like, because we tried to get it back, and it's like registered in Malaysia.
Oh my God.
So, you know, they're all doing something different than what I do on my live shows.
No shit bags there.
No shit bags there.
I haven't finished scrolling yet.
You know, it was like
this one's peeing. Oh no, that's Squirt.
I only had it for 5 weeks. Yeah, look at that. Like she's, you know,
She's squirting all over the place.
yeah. It's like, and again, let me just criticize this website also.
Doesn't represent
It's a
you well.
branding disaster because I'm not sure exactly what it is.
Right. That's why I wanted to see more. I'm like, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
I'll
Like,
keep
are these
scrolling for you,
women
too.
for sale, or is this the website? Is it like
If you click through on any of that stuff, what happens?
I get put on a list. I think I'm gonna.
Oh, yeah.
See, that's the thing. You're saying it's not good marketing. Drew is hooked.
No, I'm not.
Look at
I'm
him.
curious.
Show me more.
Look at him.
It's so odd.
How they're
It's just-
spreading that asshole. I need to see.
No,
what
I don't
that
need to
is.
see
what
that.
phone numbers on there?
No,
Maybe
no.
well,
we
because
should
you don't get to
call
like
it 7
choose a
numbers,
specific
right?
kink, you know, or a specific scene or a specific thing you want to watch. It's just here's a collection of women
Yeah,
and
it's weird.
having sex, and some of them not. And here's some boobs, and here's some flashy.
I don't know. I see this. I think about men fucking stomas. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It all kind of goes to the same zone.
So, and then things.
Men are animals. We're just
yes,
animals.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then things got worse. Obviously, in my reversal.
With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients, seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. This is why it's America's #1 meal kit. We eat HelloFresh a lot in our household. My son just started taking over the cooking because he enjoyed it so much. With the HelloFresh pre-portioned setup, it's really easy. HelloFresh is more than just dinners. You can also stock your fridge with easy breakfast, quick lunches, fresh snacks. Just shop HelloFresh Market and add any of these tasty, time-saving solutions to your weekly box. Kickstart a fresh fall routine with HelloFresh. They handle all the meal planning and shopping, deliver everything you need to cook up a tasty meal right at your home. They do the hard part, and you get to take the credit for it, and you get the fun of everything, mixing everything together. It's so easy to follow. Go to HelloFresh.com/50Dr. Drew. That's 50DRDRAW. HelloFresh.com/50Dr. Drew. Use code 50Dr. Drew for 50% off, plus 15% off the next 2 months. You've got to do this. That's HelloFresh.com/50Dr. Drew. Use code 50Dr. Drew for 50% off plus 15% off the next 2 months. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Of course, the best way to learn a language is immersion, living where the language is spoken natively and using it every day, but that is not possible, particularly in this country. Not for everyone. So the second best is to learn a language with Babbel, because with Babbel you can start speaking a new language in just 3 weeks. And I've always said it's respectful if you're going to a new country or visiting a country where a different language is spoken. Learn the basics. This summer, you can start speaking a new language with Babbel. Studies from Yale, Michigan State University, and others continue to prove Babbel is better. For instance, one study found that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a full semester at college. I watched Susan's French and French pronunciation improve with Babbel. With over 10 million subscriptions sold, Babbel is real language learning for real conversation. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners to get you started right now. Get 55% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at babbel.com/dark. Get up to 55% off at babbel.com/dark, babbel.com/dark. Rules and restrictions may apply. Well, now hold on. You had a big problem, which the biggest misadventure in this whole story is they didn't use a pediatric scope when they scoped you, and they didn't give you pediatric equipment for the bag.
I did not have, yes.
So you had an adult bag that did not fit, and so you always had shit all over your clothing.
So I have such a snatched little waist that my shit bag didn't fit. Is that hot? Is that like, should I wink? Yeah, but that's true. And so but I was leaking all the time. My snatched little waist meant that my shit bag was exploding regularly. Keith, the flower girl, was like, let's go get your nails done and get your mind off of it. When their nails are wet, I'm sitting there, nothing I can do about it. I felt it burst.
Oh.
So I just sit there marinating in my own itchy shit bandages until my nails were dry. Or this other time when we were having problems, we couldn't figure out what we were doing wrong. But again, it turned out to be the wrong size. We had a nurse come over. Cam had this really important meeting. So like he couldn't be there. So Keith who's there in his little gymnastics shorts. And he has his big rubber gloves on up to his elbows, and the nurse is there, and he's trying to teach him. So I'm laying on a puppy pad on the bed with my, shit-covered colon, my vagina out. This is all in the book too. And I'm just like, what?
You're crying? Are you
like
crying?
melting down, and Keith's there, and then they're trying, and then Cam's like in a meeting in the other hall, like doing his best, doing his best. God bless him.
I want to just to fill the image out of what was happening here. Cam is a former Army Ranger.
Yeah.
And West Point lacrosse player.
Yeah,
he's
West Point, Army Ranger, investment banker from a wonderful family. When I first started dating him, you met him, and you pulled me aside. You were like, "Kat, do not fuck this up."
What else did I say?
What do you mean?
He's too good for you.
He's too good for you. Oh yeah. Oh, of course. I mean, like, he likes the way that I make his life. I make it interesting because I think he's dated, girls from with who are a little more stable, who are a little less. He's like, but I don't know if you guys know this, but like an investment banker who's good looking from a nice family who is an Army Ranger,
Jewish?
He wasn't really struggling to have women to be like, I want to have sex with you, I want to be your girlfriend. But I wasn't really into him at first because I was only really wanted damaged men, as you know. That's how we became friends.
We became friends because she's a Teen Mom fan.
That was part of it.
And she coerced me to come on a talk show. And
yes.
So I could take her to a Teen Mom reunion.
Oh, one of the best days of my life. I was fangirling so hard. But then also I had made a joke in the green room about, it's my 30th breakup with this guy. And then you were like, let's get coffee. And
well, you were like in a fugue state saying that. I don't know if you remember. You were like not right at all.
I was unwell. I mean,
and I was like, oh, we gotta. And Kennedy's your good friend.
Yes.
And I don't know if she had tipped me off or something, but I was like, oh, this is not right.
It was an issue that was like abusive mentally, but also had been physical.
Yeah.
And it was, you taught me a lot of things about how a relationship like that becomes a cult of two people.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, oh, what am I doing wrong to make him treat me this way? And it was all my fault. And
Stockholm syndrome.
It really was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
it happens fast too. You're sucked in so quickly.
It does. I mean, I had gone there, through so much, and I had stayed, went to a lot of therapy. Like, I'm not just like multiple times a week, intensive therapy, stayed single, reprogrammed my brain. And then I was more able to accept somebody like Cam, but I was
and you
also
were more attractive to somebody like him
exactly.
too.
But at first I was like, I don't know, because I'd never been. I think I was also nervous because I was like, if this one gets messed up, I can't be like, oh, he's a loser. It doesn't matter.
He's not a loser.
He's not a loser.
But it's a great case in point. I'm always making the case for therapy and stuff.
Yeah.
Your career thrived, your relationships thrived, everything got better because you got some treatment.
Absolutely. I was like, I can't get out of bed. Okay, I can sleep. It's I couldn't get out of bed or I couldn't sleep. It was horrible time. But Cam, he says that he was also into me because he's like, I never thought I could just settle down with one woman, but with you, I'm not settling down at all. He's like, I'm never
He's
bored.
constantly entertained.
He's like, I'm never bored. He's like, sometimes I might pray for it, but boredom's not something I experience with you. So we complement each other really well.
Yes, you do.
And he's a wonderful man.
I put a lot of weight in that kind of thing. I think the fittedness is very important.
It is.
It's two people that are the same. It's like, it's irritating. It's not fun.
And I don't know if you guys are getting this vibe from me or not, but I need a lot of attention. I need the spotlight to be on me. He doesn't want that.
No,
he's
I know.
very much like, if we'll be out somewhere and I'll be like, oh, I'm telling a story. He'll be like, it's the Kat Timpf show again, everybody. It's the Kat show. And he'll kind of mock me and like we'll tease each other. And he's just so well-adjusted.
The other thing about Kat is she's a libertarian.
Yes.
Like a hardcore libertarian.
Yes.
Like I thought I was libertarian until I met Kat.
Mm-hmm.
And she just wants drugs legal, wants prostitution legal, wants a government out of everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm like live and
Kat
let
is
live.
fire.
Free markets and no judges. Sex work is work. Yeah.
And
that.
so when she does political commentary, it always comes from that perspective. And you always, I've that couple of weeks too lately, I've noticed you've been kind of on fire.
Yeah.
Is that because of the the stuff that's being presented now, the way things are, with all the different Supreme Court challenges and all these things are happening all at once. It's just giving you an opportunity to kind of dig in, I thought, in interesting ways.
I think so. I think it's also
Are you noticing that, or is that just me?
No, I think it's also that the partisanship is a little bit out of control. I think it's getting worse. I think it's everyone has their team, and then they stick on that team. So I think an example is I'm on Fox News, right? I don't know if you guys know, it's like a conservative leaning network.
You may have heard of.
You may have heard of it.
But she does comedy and the libertarian.
Yes, but
thing.
I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat either, but I'm not a Republican. So we're doing this story about this inmate who is getting a free vagina from the government because it's a trans inmate. So she's getting a government vagina because she's in prison. And of course, Fox, the uproar is they're wasting money, on this vagina, and also, the trans stuff. I'm very live and let live, very live and let live.
Yeah.
Like, life is so hard and so dark, and if you're not happy in your body, and you're like, then do, and that makes you happy, then do it.
Yeah.
And if if me calling you they makes you happy, then okay, no problem.
Yeah.
Just the way that if I go to someone's house who's religious, even though I'm not, and they're gonna pray before dinner, I'm not gonna be like, well, actually, I don't believe this, so I'm not going. It's just about respect another person, and life is hard. If this can make you feel better, no question, right?
Yeah.
But my take on the situation was like, okay, well, we're also concerned about wasting money. This person is in prison for a drug offense, and not violent, and it was a felony. The only thing I was able to find was possession. I don't even think it was dealing. It must have been a high number.
Probably weed half the time.
So it's like, if you're concerned about wasting money, this person shouldn't be in jail at all. There's so many people that are in jail for nonviolent crimes that affect only, it's their own decision, their own life, just because the way that they like to party is in a government-sanctioned way to party.
Right.
Alcohol is one of the worst things you can do to yourself. You get in deep with alcohol, you hurt yourself, you hurt other people.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm like, well, this trans person and their free vagina, she shouldn't even be in jail. And then she could have her own vagina or whatever else. So I don't really have a place where I fit. So I think that I'm able to.
But you're able to
view things because I don't have a team.
Right. So you view things with clarity that brings clarity to others, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
So I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
All right, we got a bunch of calls to get to. Let's do that. Here we go. Let's get to this continues our talk about the digestive tract.
Got it.
Oh, you need to put your headphones on.
Okay.
This is Jimmy. He lives in Oregon. Hey, Jimmy.
Hello.
Hey, man.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Hello. Well, I had a pseudocyst on my pancreas about 10 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was fun. And I had a stent from my stomach to the cyst, and it's still in there. And just drain the cyst into my stomach eventually, which is gross.
Let me just get clarity. They didn't put the stent up the pancreatic duct into the pancreas. They did it through the stomach wall.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And like my stomach acid would go in there and like clean out the cyst.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting. And so that's there. And now I wonder, is my stomach still now outside of my body, as you said?
Hell yeah.
Or
dude.
Let's go.
It's a great question, right? Jimmy, I love the question.
That is an excellent question.
So
is it?
Well, the reason they put the tube, first of all, the pseudocyst, were you drinking or something, or do you have pancreatitis? What happened?
I had pancreatitis about like 4 months before they found the cyst, and I was drinking, but it wasn't like I wasn't drinking up and waking up drinking mouthwash or anything like that.
Interesting.
So they kind of thought maybe the cyst was there, and that's kind of what caused the pancreatitis.
I see.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. So as long as they're thinking about things, looking around. So the reason they put the tube in the cyst, they pushed a tube through the wall of the stomach into this cyst. Okay. A cyst is a fluid-filled capsule, essentially.
Yeah, I have some of them in my face.
Yeah. There's an acne cyst, a little different. This is in the pancreas. And the reason they put the tube, gentlemen, listen carefully, the tube in the into the cyst is to let it drain to the outside world, which is the stomach. So much the way you drain your acne cyst to the outside world, the stomach is the outside world. And so this cyst is going to the outside world. The cyst is in the body, but when you open it up like that, it's walled off, so it now is also outside the body. So now the cyst and the tube and your stomach. Otherwise, you would be getting infections. You'd be getting terribly infected. So great question, but it is outside the body. All of it is, even though it went through the body to get there, it's all technically outside the body to drain it to the outside world.
Medicine is amazing.
Right? It's cool stuff, huh? All right. This may be something more you can help Emily with here. Emily, ooh, good question.
Hello.
I love your mom's house because people sit and come up with these creative questions. Go ahead, Emily.
Okay, so maybe I'm slightly better as a woman who has been cursed with, plagued with many UTIs throughout my life.
Feel you on that.
I am more or less curious why babies don't get UTIs when they're fully shitting their diapers all the time and just sitting in poop, and they don't get UTIs, but I could breathe sideways and somehow I have a UTI as a grown adult.
Great question.
That is I don't know how I never thought of that.
It's great. That is the kind of stuff you think about.
Doctor.
I think you're brilliant, first of all.
What's that, Eddie?
Doctor, might I try to answer this one?
Venture a
Doctor, please.
solution. Yes, venture an answer. Go ahead.
Could it perhaps be because as a baby, your shit is cleaner than when you're out?
No.
You're not drinking.
No. Good thinking. Good
Sorry,
thinking.
doctor,
But
I thought we learned this one in school.
no. Good thinking. I don't have a good answer for this, to tell you the truth. It is definitely the case that kids do get UTIs rarely, and it's not from sitting in their own shit. So it must have something to do with the anatomy, right? The anatomy is it's more closed, right? Back then. There's greater tone to all the musculature when you're younger. Maybe there is something different about the shit, but that's still E. coli.
Now I have more questions. I'm like, why are you also not getting like BV or yeast infections as a baby? Because you're throwing off your pH by sitting in your own shit.
Right. It's a good question.
Because I would think that would maybe impact the pH.
It must have something to do with the anatomy, that things are just more closed up, right? It's got to be something like that, because these are great questions.
That is a great
Anybody who's a pediatrician, write us in, drdudeafterdark@gmail.com.
Wow.
But Emily, are you getting your UTIs under control?
I have to take post-coital antibiotics, I guess I've been told, indefinitely.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's structurally. I've seen so many different urologists and naturopaths and every kind of doctor there is. And they're like, I don't know, just take antibiotics. But it seems like it's increasing in popularity from the doctors I have seen. They're like, yeah, I don't know if it's just a new thing, but I don't know. It's very frustrating.
I take something called methionine every day to prevent UTIs because I had the same issue. And I take Allura after sex.
What is Allura?
It's a cranberry capsule, but it's a very specific kind of cranberry capsule.
Highly concentrated.
And then I also have something called Urabel that I take when I feel symptoms, because it isn't always a UTI. Sometimes it's just my bladder, because I've had so many.
Sometimes just spasm.
Yeah, like when I'm on a plane, I take one before every flight, because then my bladder gets messed up. But it's under control. For a while, I was getting like one a month. And now it's under control.
Kat has a rather sophisticated little plan there. To take, are you taking nitrofurantoin? What are you taking after sex?
So right now I'm taking SMX TMP, like a low dose of it. I think it's like 400 milligrams to 80. And then with when I have, which I just call a flare up, I take ciprofloxacin, because that's the only thing that ever helps.
Boy, that's a heavy antibiotic. And it will create resistance down the road too. That's the other big problem with it, both to your bacteria flora and to the biosphere. So there's that's rough. I would look into some of the stuff that Kat has tried. Maybe.
Yeah, girl, I feel you. It's the worst. It sucks when it's such an issue that when you have sex, it's like the sex doesn't even make you as happy as being able to pee after sex. Like, okay, I can pee now. Maybe I have a less likelihood of getting a UTI. It just makes it's always on your mind. I feel for you, but there's hope. I would look into the things I mentioned.
Yeah, I feel like I've been told everything.
Yeah.
Because I took Urabel too, and because they thought it was interstitial cystitis, which is just like a painful bladder condition. But I took amitriptyline and nortriptyline.
I'm on amitriptyline too,
I've
girl.
taken, I feel like, so
All this stuff is to change the tone of the bladder and the bladder
But try
neck.
ask about methionine, because I still take that every
I'll have to
day.
look into
Yeah.
These are all useful things. They don't work for everybody, I got to admit.
It took me, it was a lot of trial and error for me too.
Yeah.
And now I haven't had a UTI in like 4 years.
Thank
Knock
you,
on
Emily.
wood.
You are a genius. You are a genius.
Yeah, that is brilliant. Emily's a brilliant girl.
Oh, this is
Bitches are tough, right?
Bitches are tough.
Oh, I can't
learned
wait
that
to hear
out
it.
I learned that out in the desert.
Yeah.
No, when I went to the desert with that show on Fox, I did.
Yeah.
I immediately thought, oh my God, these women are tough.
Well, being a woman, it's like so many things can go wrong with your vagina for no reason, and you don't even have to be having sex. You know, like a guy, the worst thing that can happen to you is like an STD, which whatever.
No,
Like-
I beg your pardon. Now, first of all, the saying is you don't want a female genital tract before the age of 40, and you don't want a male genital tract after the age of 40.
Oh, that's true.
Prostate inflammation, urinary retention, prostate cancer, epididymitis, blah, blah, blah.
I'm the
all
right,
of it happens to us
right
later.
young age of 34 anyway, so I
Yeah.
haven't even heard about that yet.
It's coming.
Yeah.
Coming your way. Summer is coming to a close. School is starting. Routines are changing. Transitions can be tough and leave you feeling low. Talking to a therapist can give you a real lift, but you may not be sure how to get started. And of course, people worry about stigma. Well, with Talkspace, they made it easy to find a therapist you like. It's convenient to meet online. You can be home wherever you're most comfortable. You know, I'm a fan of therapy. It's sort of silly that people find excuses like they're embarrassed. There's no waiting room, no nothing. It's online. Sometimes people wait until something bad happens to talk to a therapist. Do not wait. Take care of your brain the way you take care of your body. You can get a therapist through Talkspace. Therapy can help you shift your perspective, find tools to cope, and potentially be a guiding light in your corner, the therapist. Getting started is the most important part. Talkspace makes it easy and affordable. As a listener of this podcast, you'll get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/Drew. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com/Drew to get $80 off your first month and show your support for the show. That is Talkspace.com/Drew. Chloe, this is a great question. I just answered it on one of our we do these little 30-second Q&As that we put out on social media. But this one intrigued me. Chloe, go ahead.
Hey, mommies.
Hi, Mommy.
What's up, baby?
My question is, why do I feel like I'm going to throw up like a minute before I see or a minute after? I've only thrown up from it one time, and it was all bile pretty much, but I'm still really curious because it's been happening for about 2 years, and I hate it.
It's very odd.
What?
Isn't that wild? So the only thing I could think of was reflux, right? Maybe when
Yeah.
she's getting bearing down, or maybe she dilates and gets some acid reflux, and that gives her that sense of vomiting. But she has vomited, and it happens before she sneezes too. And she's not bearing down.
I hope you don't have allergies. This is horrible.
Well, it is horrible. Like, now that I'm thinking about it, I did have acid reflux when I was a kid. I was on medication for probably about 2 years.
Yeah.
But I think I kind of taught myself how to keep it down, to be honest, because when I was a kid, it was so miserable. But I was wondering if maybe it was that.
So it is undoubtedly
protein?
something to do with that, no doubt. I would just take Pepsid 40 milligrams every day for a while, see if it helps. And maybe you have some structural thing there with your esophagus. Sometimes you get hiatal hernias and things. The stomach kind of comes up into the chest. It's a whole big thing. And you kind of ought to know that if that's happening. So you might want to see a gastroenterologist along the way here. So for now, just start the Pepsid 40. Let's see. We have an interesting set of videos today, right? This has never happened. This is a special Cat Timpf episode, evidently, because Nadav just pulled me aside and he goes, "It's Nadav's choices."
Oh.
Nadav choice. And I thought, well, okay.
It's just sometimes, when we write this stuff out, it kind of gives away what the video is, and I just want these to be surprises for both of you.
I love surprises.
Switch some stuff up.
Great job, doctor.
All
There we go.
Here's the first surprise. Tell me what you're seeing.
Oh.
Is she jerking off a horse?
You're very close.
No, that is absolutely what she's doing.
What?
Not quite.
What? What else could she be doing?
Guys, get your head out of the gutter. She's giving it belly scratches.
Oh, well.
She's doing it on
guys.
purpose.
She knows that's what it looks like.
She knows what she's doing.
Yes.
Yeah,
I'm not the
she's
sicko.
laughing.
She's the sicko. I am a nice woman.
And by the way,
How dare both of you.
how do people impregnate some of these horses? They get the sperm, they put it in a container, and
That's not this, though.
All right, well, all right, fair enough. What is that weird rectangle in the middle of the bottom of the screen?
It's text that says that it's giving belly scratches.
Okay, good. She has an odd look on her face. I agree with
she's smiling. She's like,
look at me.
Just making her horse happy.
How much happier is that horse going to be if she were jacking him off? You know?
Yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
Kitty
True?
can't be. He's quivering.
It is a he, isn't it? That's the other thing. I like the music. It looks like he's laughing. It'd be great to put a laugh track over.
This
I mean, no one's ever scratched your guys' back and you made faces like that?
Nope, not me.
no,
Not like that. Give me another
not
one.
in front of a mirror. So I guess I don't know.
Maybe just me. All right, here's another fun one.
Uh-oh.
Hey guys, where are you gonna get this? Only here, never in the US. Say hola, mi amor.
Hola.
Love Colombia.
What
Is that
that man's actual face?
Yeah, that's what he looks like.
He looks like he skinned someone else's face and put it on.
He's got, but I guess that's all like Botox, right? He's got a bunch of Botox.
Filler,
teeth.
Botox.
I think mostly Botox. And look at the teeth.
All
There's
of it's
extra.
redone.
What's that?
Definitely some teeth, yeah.
Yeah, all of it's redone.
Yeah, he's got
Yeah.
the.
He didn't grow those teeth himself.
No, that's all veneers and stuff. And then the forehead, look, no wrinkles and a little bit too full around in here. But isn't he has purchased this woman? Is that the point?
Did he go to cattimpf.com? Is that
Well, she looks more Colombian than Malaysian.
I know, but maybe they change it from time to time.
Hey,
I don't know.
we don't know. That's why I wanted to click
Again,
through. Who knows
it's
what?
a marketing disaster.
Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can see any Colombian
Yeah,
on here.
Did he go to cattimpf.com and purchase this woman?
Nope, mostly Malaysian.
So again, just so I understand this lovely gentleman, he's not saying, "Hey, I got a new relationship." He goes, "I purchased this here." Yeah.
I don't know if he purchased it, but I think he's just like, that's where
Hey guys,
good
where
wives
are
are.
you gonna get this? Only here, never in the US. Say hola, mi amor.
Hola.
Love Colombia.
look scared.
There are Colombians in the U.S.
Yeah, and there are women in the
There's
U.S.
women in the
You
U.S. They
are
have
going
boobs.
to get. You
Yeah.
literally are going to get this in the U.S.
Yeah.
But also, mi amor means my love. So I think it's probably a little bit more intimate than, just
I
like
think
People in the
lady
U.S.
street.
also speak Spanish.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't joke about that.
Yeah. So
All right, keep going.
Well, I mean, to each
Nadav's
their
choice.
We're going to keep on going full steam ahead here.
Hi.
Oh, hi.
My name is Lennart Blad, and I'm from Gotland, Sweden. I intend to start a sex site on YouTube
okay.
where we talk about sex and maybe show some nice positions and maybe
Okay.
do some dancing, striptease. What do I know? I need some girls to help me with this.
He's on drugs, right?
To get it real sexy
No,
and
he's just
nice.
Swedish.
Maybe you are the one that
I don't think I
I'm
am.
looking for. I need one who can hold the phone, the camera, and maybe one that wants to play and have some fun.
Yeah, I like to have fun, but I don't think I don't think that's the way to do it. For
Even
me.
if you were going to send this guy a sex tape, he wouldn't. If you were to send a sex tape, this would not be the guy you would send it to.
No, what happened to his
intend to
nose?
start a
He's
sex
got a big
site
nose.
on YouTube.
He's got a big nose. He might have a little rhinophyma too. Oh, we'll look.
He
up.
looks completely destroyed, but his hairline is not bad.
Not bad.
It's far better than mine.
Yeah.
So, like, you know what I mean?
What is it about the Swedish accent and then the gasping in between words that makes this so extra creepy?
And also, his nipples are so far apart. When he was laying down, I was like, his chest has no nipples. But then he stood up, and then it was right. So when he lays down, his nipples run away from each other.
And then why does he scratch his head like that all the time?
I see. Look at that. Like I'm confused by his body. I'm confused by his face. I also am jealous of his confidence. You know?
Yeah,
It's a stud.
puts it
Because he
out
thinks
there.
it's going to work or he wouldn't put it out there.
Oh,
He's
that
like,
is
I'm
a
the best.
Kat, that is a general note about the men that visit your mom's house on these videos. It's just like they're making these wild pleas for somebody to love them, somebody to have sex with them, and it's like it's they're doing the opposite. They're repelling people.
Yeah, just go to a bar. Like,
Or go to, are you noticing? I think I'm seeing a trend where young men are starting to use prostitutes a little more than in my lifetime.
I've heard that.
You've heard that too.
I've heard that.
Yeah, it's so as opposed to doing these desperation moves, they're actually just going to prostitutes.
Well, that's just small business.
Oh, that's right. You're in favor of all that.
Yeah, I mean, it grows the economy.
So, but as it pertains to your peers, because they're mostly men your age, a little younger that I'm hearing this from, is there something going on, do you think, that's sort of generating that?
Yeah, I guess I don't really know. I think it's still something that's a little bit taboo. People tell me things because I don't judge them ever.
Me too.
And
no,
I know
hear
that
it
you,
too.
because you're Dr.
Yeah,
Drew.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe it's easier, It's tough to build an emotional connection with a person. It can be tough to put yourself out there and get rejected.
Well, that's always been the case.
Right.
But I think men are fearful of being seen as toxically masculine.
That's interesting.
And being aggressive and being accused of something, so they're going to pull back. Then as a result of that, they aren't going through the usual milestones of learning how to date. And so by the time they hit their 30s, they're like, well, it's just forget it. I'm just going to see a prostitute. They just sort of give up. It's kind of sad, right?
Except for the girls making all that money.
Except for the money. Except for the money. Do you have any voicemails for us?
Yeah, I got a couple nice ones for you.
Okay.
Hey, Hitler.
Hey.
I have a random medical question, which I've actually never asked anyone. I have a crooked left side of my rib cage. So my right side's completely normal, flat, assuming like everyone else in the world has. But on my left side, it is like a ski slope. So if you were to go completely like level with my
on one
hip
side,
bone side, it's flat. But on the front, right underneath my boob, it is shaped like a ski slope.
Yeah.
So it goes up. Don't know what that means, if it has any medical effect on me, if it's just an abnormality or if it's normal. But, yeah, the only cool thing that's done in my life is that before I had kids, I pretended that was my boob. Let me know. Bye.
Interesting. So it's called a flare. It's called a
Okay.
flare chest. And people get it when they get emphysema and sort of inflation of their lungs a little bit. Something commonly when people get older, you get a little flare. Why you'd have it on one side versus the other, I would just wonder, did you have pneumonia when you were a kid or anything? Anything like that happen to you?
I had pneumonia every year as a kid. as a matter
Okay,
of
so
fact,
that's
yeah.
what'll do it. Did you have asthma
Nice.
also?
Well, the doctor said I did. My mom said I didn't.
Okay,
so
so
we
the
just
asthma is
didn't
the other
treat
thing
Mom
that
knows
will.
best.
And you probably
Is your mom also a doctor?
that. According to her, yes.
Got it.
and I bet you have it on both sides, just more on one side than the other.
I guess not that I've noticed. There was like, I don't know, when I was like 20, I looked down and realized, it was like one
there
side
it
was
is.
bulging out. I'm like,
Do
what the
you
fuck?
ever get wheezing and stuff now, or feel short of breath?
I mean, definitely with the basketball training, that was a big thing. But just move past it. I don't know.
Couldn't breathe, but I was like, it's okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
and he doesn't worry about much.
I love that. Help me.
Yeah. It is kind of important to get that evaluated at some point.
See, I go to the doctor every 5 minutes. I'm like, you sure I don't need more blood work? I want to see what my levels are at. I've been different from a week ago. Help me.
the reason being is that if you have any continued airway reactivity from the asthma, you kind of outgrow it as you get to be an adult, but it comes back sometimes later. But if you're having any still difficulty with the airways being tight, they can start to scar down. They become permanently tight, and that's emphysema. And so asthma untreated, if you really still have it, could lead to emphysema down the road. So it's something to kind of...
Well, here's the good news. I'm all done training, so we're all good.
but
no more of that.
it's
Now I
not-
just remain seated.
Yeah, that's right. But it's not
Sedentary
about
boy.
the training the training just brought it out. It's still there, and it can still lead to the emphysema. That's the thing. Or I've never heard your wheeze or anything, so I'm not particularly worried about it. But it's just something to kind of be aware of. Isaac, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing, Dr. Drew?
We're good, man.
And
What's
Boys
happening?
and everybody else in there.
Welcome.
What's up,
Hey,
baby?
so I had a quick little question for you, bro.
What's up?
All right, so sometimes what I'm saying, before, like if I'm meeting a lady friend, and I'm gonna have some, I'm like, sometimes I'll rub one out, I'll pregame before I get over there, per se,
Mm-hmm.
And I've noticed when I do that, sometimes it better, it gives me, I last longer and it's better performance. I wanted to see if you could break that down for me in a scientific way, if you could, and see if it's a myth, maybe it's a placebo I'm telling myself or something like that.
Oh, no. Refractoriness, your sexual desire and your ease to orgasm increases with longer periods between ejaculation. That makes sense?
It makes perfect sense.
So if you ejaculate, you're relieving the stress, you're relieving the fluids, you're emptying the seminal vesicles, you're reducing some of the tension, so to speak. Do you know somebody named Julia, by the way? Doesn't he sound like Good Morning, Julia? A little bit? Yeah. A little bit? No.
Good morning, Julia. No, I love that one, but...
Yeah, so it's actually a good idea, Isaac.
No.
It's a good idea. It does help men perform to kind of... And it also kind of takes the heat off the tension in getting to know somebody where you're not worried about having sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
I'm a girl, so it's like not hard to have someone want to have sex with you.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like...
Right. It's hard for men.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's do another male sex question from Norm. Hi, Norm.
Hey, Dr. Jeans, what's up?
Hi, Mommy.
Goose Boys.
Yeah, buddy.
What's up, baby?
What's up,
Hey.
homie?
So I have a question about making white.
Yep. Go
So
ahead.
It's all white and brown today.
Yeah.
You come to the right place.
Cool. So it's not constant or regular, but sometimes when I have sex with my fiance, after I've already made white, I can stay inside of her and make white again after another round,
Yeah.
This isn't a question. You're just calling to brag.
This definitely happens. Your ability to do this will diminish with time, let's say. But it's not like you're having one orgasm directly after another. You have some refractoriness, and men are refractory for varying periods of time. Some men it's 5 minutes, some men it's 3 hours. But in your case, it's like 10 minutes. And so the only thing that's sort of bragging right about this is that you can sustain the erection without losing the erection after orgasm.
But
So-
he just called, like, hey, Dr. Drew, I can fuck forever. Is that okay?
Am I right? Oh my goodness.
Good for you.
So, Teen Mom, why did you get involved with that?
Teen Mom. I'm a big Teen Mom fan.
Yeah, that's how we met. Through
Yeah.
that.
Well, I also liked Loveline. Like the first
Oh.
time I met you, I was so nervous to meet you.
I didn't know
I was
you-
like,
oh,
it's
that's right.
the
We did a
Dr.
s-
Drew.
we did a
We did a
skit.
skit together.
Yeah.
And I was like shaking. I was so nervous. I was
ridiculous.
also like at my height of my instability because I was dating that abusive man at the time. But I think it's just fascinating to me to watch. I mean, there's just so many good one-liners there. I mean, mostly when Janelle was on the show where she was dating Nathan and he shows up at Barbara's house with Janelle's mom with a Frappuccino. And she goes, where's Janelle? He goes, well, that's the bad news. Janelle's in jail. And I think it's just a lot of the flippant attitudes that they've had towards these like major problems in life.
Yes.
I judge myself for every little thing. And I'm
Remember
always like,
Janelle
I'm doing okay.
Was sitting in her lawyer's office.
Yes. Epic. Janelle's in her lawyer's office. He got her this great deal. We're supposed to do a couple days of jail time and all of her legal battles are behind her. She's like, well, here's the problem. I got tickets to a concert. It's Kesha. Like, it's not just a concert, it's Kesha. And he's like, I'm not going to tell the judge that you can't go to jail that day because you have to see Kesha. She's like, no, you don't understand. I got hotel rooms for the concert. That's why I got all these feathers in my hair. It's just fascinating to watch.
Yeah.
She got pregnant on purpose at like 22 because she was like, well, now I'm like 22 and we're fighting a lot and I have this baby. We won't have time to fight. And I just, I also got to know one of the girls who's not in the show anymore, Chelsea, who's like, she's the one who ended up doing very well.
Yes.
Now she's married. She has, kids, healthy marriage, same guy. Her dad, Randy, watched the show, and you introduced us at, I come to the reunion. I'm like a fan.
So I brought her to the reunion. I go, let's go back to the dressing rooms. I'll introduce you to everybody.
Yeah.
We walk in to Chelsea's dressing room. Randy's standing in the just inside the doorway.
Yeah.
He goes, "Hi, Cat Timpf."
I was like, and now he's my buddy. He's a nice guy. She had a great dad.
Dentist in North Dakota.
Of course, he's it's nothing like having a great dad. I have a great dad.
Mm-hmm.
I have the best dad in the world. So my mom is dead though.
So this is back to the trauma and the stuff you can joke about. Tell them a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, well, that was the other thing. It's my mom died a week to the day after my 26th birthday.
But she was a little traumatizing even before she left the
Catholic.
planet.
She was very, very Catholic, and I don't know if you guys have noticed this, but I am not. I am not a devout practicing Catholic. She was very Catholic. I mean, to the point where we had Saint Benedict medals up over the house to keep the devil out.
But she was sort of religiously abusive.
It was
called religious abuse when people do that.
But here's the thing: she believed that if I didn't do these things, I'd go to hell.
Right.
So, but for a while, I believed that if I did these things, I would go to hell. So it was like I would always go to confession and I would confess my sins, even when I reached the age where the sins were something that was uncomfortable to share with an old man. Like a strange old man.
How'd it go?
I would be in the confession and I'd be like, okay, so it's been, however long since my last confession. I was mean to my mom. He'd be like, what? And I'd be like, I masturbated. And then he'd be like, how many times? Because it was a Slavic Catholic church. So it was like, that was a mortal sin and I was going to go to hell.
A mortal sin?
Yes, you go to hell.
Masturbate?
If you masturbate and you die before confession, then you go to hell. Which is what I was taught.
Okay, so you're confessing, so you're fine.
And, yeah, but I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you, Kat? Like you can't stop doing this, and you're gonna go to hell. Well, but it was every New Year's resolution, for my I'm in middle school, and it's like what that does to a child's mind. I think is extremely. Because there's Catholic and then there's like that. I really believe this.
That by masturbating you send yourself to hell.
Because I was like, I have to get confession. I'd be in the car and I'd be like, what if I get in a car accident on the way? And then I'm done for. Like, how could you be so stupid? And meanwhile, I'm engaging in completely normal behavior.
Yeah.
This is completely normal behavior.
Did you ever get in any behavior where the priest was like,
no, he would just be like, say this many Hail Marys, like say this, do this, whatever.
What was your peak in terms of numbers of Hail Marys?
I don't know. He'd be like 5 or 10. Think about it. I am this scrawny, like underweight middle schooler with a butch haircut because my mom always made me keep my hair short. Like I looked so androgynous. I looked like Jonathan Taylor Thomas. I had buck teeth, and I'm sitting there like I masturbated. It's just the weirdest.
Just blowing loads.
I was the weirdest, and so I was, always thought I was bad. I thought the devil was going to get me, but I also thought like I was going to go to heaven when I died. So I haven't also found something that is able to heal me or like it's going to be okay. And the thing that I have found is comedy and is being able to laugh at these dark things in life, because when you say you can't joke about something, what you're doing is you're saying that subject is untouchable.
Right.
And then you're giving it even more power than it would have otherwise.
Right.
So I have found that to be very, very healing throughout dealing with, my mom's death. And it's something that I find very unfortunate is, that was never resolved and there's never no hope for that resolution. And my mom was a social worker, right? She helped people. She had moments where she could be very helpful. She could be very wonderful. She was very charming. She was very funny. She was all these good things about her. But the fact that she was a devout Catholic and then I fell away from it sometime in college and I was honest with her about that, completely it dominated the relationship between us.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it dominated.
Because she wanted to save your eternal soul.
She wanted to save my soul. And you kind of understand that, but it's also like, and I still do have these issues with members of her family where as I have talked about these things, I've been open in my book, I've been open here, and I will get guilt. I'll walk out of this podcast, I'm like, I shouldn't have talked about that. Why? Why? Even though this is not my first time talking about this.
It's weird. This is sort of mirrors your libertarian feelings.
Yeah.
Like you should be free to have these feelings.
You should.
Have these whatever.
And you should
These
be able.
normal human behaviors.
It's normal
and
human behavior,
impulses.
and you should be able to talk about it. But it's that Catholic, it's that guilt that I have.
Interesting.
And I'll have people who will say, even family members, I wish you were Catholic. I can't, you can't believe you're not Catholic. As if that's a choice that I've made.
How does your sister deal with it?
We talk to each other.
Is she still Catholic?
No, she's also not religious.
I am not a Jew.
Well, yeah.
Maybe it's time to do a little more into Nadav's choice. And is there any TikTok? Is those TikToks we were watching, or are they just?
We went through all of them.
Oh, I see 2 more on the board.
What are you talking about?
It says
Nadav's choice.
Yes, I'm ready for it.
And neither of them are TikToks.
Oh, okay. Let's get into Nadav's choice.
Day 2 of me drinking no urine. It's going pretty well. I did want to have a sip earlier just to taste the flavour, but no, I'm having a little break. It was making me too manic.
Oh, yeah.
So did you know that drinking your own urine can make you manic?
Well,
See, how am I so nervous to talk about normal human behavior? And then,
and then this is what's
this
out
guy is like, hey, you know what? 2 days no pee. High five.
there. He is bipolar and manic, though, so it tells you a bit about what's going on with him.
And that doesn't have to do with the drinking urine?
I don't.
There are, grandiose behaviors can lead to exacerbation of mania. So maybe just some sort of, something that he gets into when he's getting manic or something. I don't know. Hard to say. But he feels it that way, so that I believe him. It's happening. Why did that need to be blinded to us?
No, I'm just picking some fun ones.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, just curious.
All the American men out there, you need to go to Uganda and get you a pearl, get you a queen. That's what you need. These American women, they're not no good. Get you a woman from Uganda. I'm telling you. This is my 3rd time telling you what to do. American men, please, this is a dating tip. And I'm telling you for the 3rd and final time, but you can't have her. She's mine. This one is all mine. Go get your own.
I don't know the guy, but just to guess, I don't think American women might have been the problem in his dating endeavors.
I think you're probably right. but I guess he's sort of coaching up men of all types, right? So if you're a kind of man that is not appealing to American women, maybe another ethnicity would be appealing to you, or another culture.
Maybe.
You could be appealing.
Now, I also have a question here, Drew.
Well, I just want to say there's a little theme developing in these videos you're showing us, Nadav. You going to tell us something?
Yeah, there's just I want to share some cool guys with you. I'm saving all the cool guys.
Okay.
This guy's eyes look interesting.
Tell me more. What are you seeing? Go ahead. Play it.
For a second, in different frames, it kind of looks like he might have Down syndrome?
Oh, like his little.
Get you a queen.
The way
I see what you're saying.
American women,
right? The
they're
little
not
pockets
no
under
good.
the eyes.
Get you a woman from Uganda. I'm telling
But, like,
you.
not like he's
this
tired.
is my 3rd time telling you what to do. American man.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, but I don't think that's it. I don't think that's
Is it a
anything.
spectrum? Could he be
There
like
are
a very
spectrumy
lightly-
elements, but I don't think this is that. I don't. It's just, that's just, it's a good pickup, but just a facial
Thank
feature.
you.
The use of emojis is interesting.
Where is it?
It's
The little
Ugandan,
flag.
the Ugandan flag and the American
He
flag.
puts the Uganda flag first to show it's better than American women.
Funny. Did you see the Book of Mormon, speaking of Uganda? Did you see that
Yes.
play? Okay, good.
Cam took me after we were dating for a week to go see it.
It's the best
one of the
play.
best things I've ever seen.
Ever, right? It's unbelievable. If you guys ever get a chance to go to New York, go see the Book of Mormon. It's a
Oh
funny
yeah,
film.
I saw it when I was touring in L.A.
All right, good. Is that it? We're all done there?
Yeah.
You took him off the screen. Well, Kat,
It's over?
Is there anything I missed? Anything you want to talk about before we wrap it up?
No, I mean,
It's a
I
little
just
cold
had
in here.
I had just like the best time.
Good.
You know, I had the best time. It's so great to be here. You know, I guess, I promote myself, buy my book, want to learn how to laugh at your own trauma. It's very helpful with that.
I would say go see your live
My
shows.
live shows are a great time. You'll laugh.
TheRealCatTimpf.com.
TheRealCatTimpf.com.
Not CatTimpf.
I mean, depending
And-
on what you're looking for. I don't know you.
And I'm hoping Kat is an inspiration for people when it comes to getting psychotherapy, getting the mental health services.
Listen, I always say this. The fact that I got married, it can happen to anybody. You can marry a wonderful man. You can have a career that you're happy with. It doesn't matter how low things are. There's a lot of trauma we didn't even touch on, but in my book, and then there's stuff I didn't even write about too. If you go get therapy, even if you feel like it's not helping, stick with it. you really can, rewire your brain in certain ways and find things that are meant for you that you didn't know.
It takes time.
It takes time.
Because it grows very slowly, but you came back rather quickly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably a year and a half.
But
2
I
years?
really dedicated myself to it. I was
Yeah.
seeing my therapist more than once a week. It was between, 2 and 3 times. I was doing like group therapy as well.
Mm-hmm.
I was really, really focused because I was like, I reached a point where I was like, I can't live like this anymore. And I had to fight those feelings that were telling me I didn't deserve a life that was any better. And that was kind of the hardest part, because when you're depressed, people always say, when you're depressed, reach out. And that's good. But you also need to realize when someone's depressed, they don't want to reach out either because they don't feel like it, or they don't feel like they're worth it. And just don't listen to the lies inside your brain.
But Annie, it sound familiar there, what you were saying about not being worth the good feelings?
Hell yeah, depressed gang, baby.
Hey, what up?
I'm trying to find somebody for Annie. It's hard to find somebody where you've not had direct experience, because it's hard to find a good therapist. I mean, that fit, right?
I went through several. The therapist that I have now is the same one that I've had for years and years and years. And I really, really like him, but sometimes it's not the right fit.
I was in therapy for 11 years. 11 years.
Yeah, I've been on and off. It's if I need it, I'll start doing sessions again. But at that time that had to be my priority.
I would argue that you've continued to improve.
I think so, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that it's not selfish to kind of put that focus on yourself, because otherwise you're not going to be giving the best version of yourself to everyone else.
Yeah.
So there have been times where I'm like, I'll go back to therapy. And going to therapy also, you can learn a lot about yourself, and okay, maybe I have these patterns because of this thing in my past. And the more that you know about yourself, the more you realize why you might be acting the way that you're acting, and you can become better.
And I think laughter is a very important part of healing.
It's a very important part
of it. I think this whole country needs to heal. So I think I've been looking for comedy to show us the way out for a long time. So.
It's my religion. That's the last chapter of my book. Comedy is my religion, which not everybody was happy to hear about in my family. Not immediate family, but
But we are happy to hear about it.
Yeah, and you might try it if you're looking for a religion.
There you go. We will leave it right there, everybody. Thank you all for being here. We will see you next time.
Yeah.
All conversations and information exchanged during participation in the Dr. Drew After Dark podcast or interaction on the drdrew.com website is intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Do not confuse this with treatment or physician medical advice or direction per se. You must always follow your medical professional's advice and direction. Nothing on these podcasts or posted on this site supplements or supersedes the relationship and direction of your medical caretakers. Please understand, I am not playing the role of physician in this environment per se. I'm educating. I am a licensed physician with specialty boards in American Board of Internal Medicine and American Board of Addiction Medicine.